The Mexican American Bar Association of Houston has jumped on board to endorse. They actually wrote a check. They're going to help us with a lawyer on the caravan, because we're crazy, but not that crazy. We want people archiving. We want lawyers at every turn. The Hispanic National Bar Association has jumped on to endorse us. So we want friendly lawyers throughout. We will convene with the legal team there in Tucson, which Carlos Martinez is a part of. You may have heard him on the Democracy Now! Arguing, debating with Huppentong. So we've got this red, so there is formal litigation. There's teach-ins right now. Rodolfo Acuña, of course, uno de los padrinos de Chicano literature, he's actually at Tucson right now. He arrived with, I think it was 60 California students to do a teach-in right now that the students have been organizing. So Nicolas is going to be a part of that as well. So, and I think the other thing that's happening is, just so you know as well, student groups from across the nation are jumping on board. Colorado Springs, we're getting calls from DeKalb, Illinois. The Raza educators from Los Angeles will be coming down as part of the caravan. I kid you not, too, like you mentioned too, the mainstream media has been slow to get on. I just did a piece for CNN.com. Maybe we'll get more of them on board. That'll be published sometime next week. But they're not reporting this as they should. The Tucson Unified School District has hired professional PR people to get to the mainstream media first. And you'll even notice, if you do a Google search, even our strongest allies, Huffington Post, had jumped on board and did pieces. But you're going to see that they put the alleged book banning. And we're trying to change the narrative. Again, this goes back to what our writers taught us. We're trying to change the narrative. So what we're putting into some of the pieces that we write is de facto banning, because people don't know what de facto means. You know, everyone knows what alleged means. So well, let's put de facto in there, and it sounds like a fact. So, so we want to put that into the rhetoric. But Tucson is pushing back, and they have the ear of the media. But I think with so many people jumping on board, here's the other fascinating moment that we are upon, and we call it quantum demographics. We're bringing together many segments of the movimiento. So the students are on board. The intelligentsia is on board. Of course, the writers and artists are on board. What Bryan Parras has brought to the table, he has done caravans. He brought that element into it. But we're also working with the Peace and Justice Center in San Antonio. SWAP, Southwest Organizing Project, also on board. So these are activists that don't traditionally work with these other segments. Earlier, too, we're talking about there's an upper middle class demographic of Latinos, especially in Houston. A lot of Mexican Americans que tienen lana pero no la sueltan for good causes. They're helping out as well. And this is going to blow your mind right now. We've also gotten Latino Republicans who are saying, you know what? I know, I know. There's a lot of them in Houston. Guess what, though? They're saying, you know what? Those laws are racist. This reveals that the platform that was anti-immigrant was really anti-Latino. And what happened now is, you know, when they went after the immigrants, not enough was done. And for different reasons. We've had long discussions about that. One, they're deciding if they can vote or not. So disenfranchise them that way. Also, it is not up to us to put them at risk. It is not, to push them in the limelight complicates their lives in ways that it doesn't. What happened now, though, is once they've messed with books, I mean, I'm an Arizona legislator's nightmare. I'm an anchor baby, so you can't deport me. And I have a master's degree, so I can read between the lines. And now that they mess with the books, como que, and here's the other thing too, with this coalition, it is all cultures. When people find out about it, that's half the battle. They can't believe it's happening in America. The other thing they say too is, well, is it because the books are in Spanish? All the books that are prohibited are all in English. Even Shakespeare. Shakespeare. Guillermo Shakespeare. Además, también, people say, well, is it because it's against the undocumented? Arizona laws are so draconian against the undocumented that they're scared to go to school. This is about American citizens trying to read books in English and being denied basic civil rights. And then after that, if you want to get complicated, because some people do, well, pick a First Amendment. Right to assembly, right to association, freedom of speech, pick one. And then it goes in from there.